Hello, everyone. We are kicking off Generation Next Volume 2.0 today with a great interview with St. Joe's Metuchen's junior, right-handed pitcher, side armor, Jimmy Mulvaney, who has given his verbal commitment to Fairfield University up in Connecticut. We've got a great story with Jimmy for everybody. Have Merry Christmas to everyone. This is airing. This is our kicking off our Generation 2.0 series. And welcome to the show, Jimmy, and good to have you on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Definitely. Let's get right off the bat. Start with your verbal commitment this past fall, the fall of your junior year, to Fairfield. Anybody who's a college baseball fan, wasn't that long ago. It was last spring when they won the first, I think, 26 games to start the season, made it into the top 25. Got a win in the NCAA tournament, huge national story, and got to feel pretty good to make a commitment to a school like that that's, right around the corner pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. They had a huge year last year, taking over the conference and obviously making it down to the World Series, even picking up a win down there, like you said. And super excited to get there. I love everything about it. Coach DeBackman, Coach Courier, and super excited.
Definitely. So how did the recruiting go for you? Did they kind of get on you like later? I guess it was a lot of what they saw this past summer, right? Because there was a big long period before that where they couldn't really watch much of anything with COVID. So how was your COVID recruitment? How did that take place?
Yeah, it was definitely different. It was different for everybody with COVID, but I think for me specifically, like sidearm lower angle, it's not very common. So like the process was a little bit different, especially because, velocity is one of the most important things in pitching, if not the most. And that's something where as a side armor, like that's not my strength. Like I have other areas where I'm better in. So it definitely, I wouldn't say it started later, but I started talking to Coach DeBackman in the winter last year, right around this time actually. And then once we got towards like end of high school season, summer, we started having phone calls and conversations and some mutual interest. And then they came to watch me pitch a couple of times this summer. The conversation kind of picked up. And then come September 1st, it all flew. Like I got on campus, took a tour with Coach T, and that was it. I knew it was the place. And when they offered, I knew it was the place I wanted to go, and I locked it in.
So you're different. I mean that in a nice way, of course. Not necessarily, baseball wise, you're different, as you alluded to. We're talking to a low sidearm / almost submarine pitcher, which you're not seeing a lot of guys. That might be something that develops later on because they're struggling overhand, and they kind of do that to adapt and get a chance to stick around. But that's something that's sort of developed naturally for you. And I know you said velo is obviously not going to be your measuring stick, but still, you're right, low to mid 80s now as an 11th grader throwing sidearm is on that sidearm scale. That's pretty high up there, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, as a freshman year, I still remember this all the time. I look at this as like kind of my turning point. I went to one of the showcases at my velocity. This is when my arm slot started getting very low. And I think I topped out at 68 or 69. And I just remember thinking like I have the movement, I guess, but like the velocity's got to get up. And that's when I really like bought into baseball. I started getting in the gym. I got bigger. I put on a bunch of weight, and I really started focusing on pitching. And the velocity went up right around like low mid 70s, then just kept increasing. And the sidearm part of it, like, yeah, I was always a lower 3/4 guy. And then I just progressively got lower to the point where even the guys at Diamondjacks are like, hey, you're starting to get into like sidearm submarine. Like, are you sure? Like, are you trying to do this? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of just throwing. But that I really like, they helped a ton. Coach Wadika helped a ton with like really adapting it and like buying into that sidearm part of it and learning it and developing and everything. But yeah, it was definitely more of a natural process for me.
Yeah. So what did we throw from that slot then?
Pitch wise, it's fastball. Some people call it a sinker because of the tail I get. So fastball, sinker, and then a slider and a changeup.
Okay, so can you can throw your changeup to tail away from lefties then?
Yeah, that was my big thing this past year, working on the changeup, and I'm
Yep.
not quite there, but definitely a lot of progress. I think I found a grip I like, and that's the pitch for lefties for sure.
Yeah, and again, you still got 2 years of high school left to perfect that. Whereas a lot
Yeah,
of guys are still going to be like caught up on the deception of the motion. But as you already know, obviously from your travel and your Diamondjacks experiences, if you don't have that pitch that runs away from lefties, they're just seeing everything come right at them, and it's not the 95 that they're seeing from everybody else, and their eyes just kind of light up. But it sounds like you're well on your way to being able to neutralize that.
yeah, it's definitely different. Like it's a different style of pitching, and I'm still learning it. I'm still finding out new things every day. But yeah, definitely the changeup is something I've been working on, and just getting a good pitch mix is honestly all it's about.
So now that we know you're a little different, um, we gotta, on that subject, the team that we're looking at St. Joe's this year is a little different too, and in a good way, obviously. You not a whole lot of high school teams can front their pitching with, three big time D1 arms, and not too many guys have commit to a D1 before their junior year and say, well, I got two guys who are bigger names than me on their staff. And obviously, Donovan Zach coming back this year, going to Virginia next year, and Andrew Golden, who was pretty big in you guys winning the GMC title last year.
Yeah, yeah, no, those guys, those are great guys to have around, on the field and off the field too. Like Golden last year kind of came in right before the season started and just fit in perfectly. And we didn't even have him much at the beginning of the year, but he was still a huge part of the team at the plate and everything. And then obviously, once we got to GMCs, he took off and was our guy through that. And Donnie will be huge coming back. He's another one. He's a huge leader. And those two, that's a huge 1-2 punch right there. Like two guys throwing 90 plus, and they're for me, especially as a year younger than them, like looking up to them, like having two role models like that. It's awesome having them around.
Yeah, and that kid behind the plate ain't so bad either.
Yeah, that's another one. Mark, he's great too. It's always easier pitching to Mark. Like with guys on base, you can always count on Mark. No one's going to run on him, and if they do, there's a good chance he throws them out. But yeah, we definitely got a talented group over there.
It's got to be, your stuff moves all over and different than everybody else's, right? Just because of your motion. To have a catcher like Mark back there while you're kind of going through the process of, I want to say figuring it out, but perfecting all these pitches that are kind of crazy. I mean, that I'm sure that takes a lot of pressure off of you, and you don't have to feel the need to like be too perfect or anything like that. You just go out and throw because he's going
Yeah,
to catch it.
yeah, definitely. I've been throwing to Mark now since about seventh or eighth grade, and he's definitely special behind the plate. Like it gives me a level of confidence. Guys on base, like I'm not trying to be perfect, like you said. Like I know Mark's gonna take care of it, and just gives you that extra confidence boost, and it makes you feel more comfortable.
Um, you mentioned obviously throwing to Mark for a few years. That's through the Diamondjacks. Um, you're right around the corner from there, pretty much, right? You're in Flemington. You live in Flemington, right?
I'm in Reddington, so I'm about 10 minutes from
All
Domination.
right, so you're one more town over, but still right around the corner, pretty much.
Yep.
What has that organization meant to you? Because you're pretty much a Diamondjacks lifer, I guess, at this point, right?
Yeah, I think my first time at Diamond Nation was in like the little Patriot leagues with Coach Travis when I was probably 5 years old, and then I did that up until the Diamondjacks started at 10. And they've done so much for me. Like everything I know about baseball, where I am now, like I owe most, if not all of that, to the D-Jacks, the coaches over there, like Coach Evan, Coach Walt, Coach Buck. Coach Dietro, all of them like have been a huge help. Like that's where I learned the game of baseball pretty much and learned to love it. And just where I developed like every aspect of baseball, I owe to Diamond Nation. Like it's been my home since I was 5 years old, and I'm still there now. And hopefully all goes well, finish out through high school. So yeah, it's definitely a huge part of my life.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
To me, Austin, he has made a huge impact on my life, how I look at life, how thankful I am for my health, everything. Meeting Austin 12U was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I met him through a friend, obviously Jimmy, who's on the show right now, and being able to play in front of him, hearing him cheer you on, meeting the family, it's a class act. And I still talk to Austin. I still talk to the parents. I went trick or treating this past Halloween with all the guys, and it was a ton of fun, as it always is. But there's nothing like talking to Austin about Star Wars, Marvel. He'll talk your ear off, and I love it. But meeting Austin, it's something I would never trade. He's one of the best kids I've ever met. He's just like one of us. And he really puts life in perspective, how thankful you should be for everything, because you never know. You never know. But I'm speechless. Like meeting him, I really can't put it into words how much it's meant to me in life, baseball, everything. I know how much he'd love to be on that field, but that's why I always try to make him proud while playing.
Why don't you tell us about Austin? You became friends with him in second grade, right? What he's meant to not just you. Well, we'll start with what he's meant to you as a friend. Tell us about his background and what he's meant to you.
Yeah, so Austin, I could go on forever about him and his family too. Great people, but Austin I met in second grade at school, and Austin's different. He has a disease. I won't go too deep into it. It's called MPS. So Austin's not able to do everything that a regular kid can, and goes through more than anyone could ever imagine. He's physically limited, but he's a great kid, all smiles all the time. And just to me specifically, and all my teammates that he's ever been around, like having Austin at the games, having Austin around, like just brightens the mood, like lights up the room wherever he goes. Always has a smile on his face, through everything he's been through, like surgeries, setbacks. COVID was definitely harder on him and his family, and just the happiest person ever. And just anytime Austin's there, it's a different feeling. Like it's great having him around for sure.
And he still comes up and watches you at St. Joe's whenever he can, right?
Yeah, no matter where we're playing, Austin's always there. They always find a way to get there. It's awesome.
Now, you wanted to bring him into kind of the Diamondjacks family, I guess, right? When he obviously can't play, but still loves being around you guys and you and Mark, and I know Ryan Jaros, Griffin Mills, and I know him for Griffin going to Stanford again from your 2023s, and I'm obviously forgetting a few other guys in your team, but he kind of adapted to everybody and became a big part of your group really quickly, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So I introduced Austin to Coach Buckaloo, who was my coach at the time. And I was like, Austin's going to come to all of our games. And I think it started, I asked if we could get him a hat, because we wanted him to feel a part of the team. And then we just took the idea and ran with it. And there was a big ceremony. He got a jersey in front of like the whole program, got him jerseys, hats. He introduced him to everyone, all the guys. And from then on, Austin's been at almost every single game. Everyone knows Austin now at Diamond Nation. I'm sure they feel at home there, and everyone loves having them around. And like Mark, Griffin, Ryan, like you said, they're all super close with Austin. Like we spend time with them outside of baseball too now. And we've been with him since we were 10, 11 years old. So it's really cool.
Little Halloween stuff this past year too.
Yeah, that's like our new tradition now that we're all so spread out. We don't see each other much, but every
Right.
Halloween we get together and we all go trick or treating with Austin.
I love it. Keep it that way when you get, even doesn't matter how old you get, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, what's that done to your perspective? Just obviously being friends with him through the years, and what has that done to change the way that you see, yourself, others, and the game itself, and the power that baseball can have on people?
Yeah, I mean, looking at a kid like Austin, obviously someone who isn't as privileged as other people to where Austin can't go out and play baseball every day like we can for a certain amount of time. But having him around just makes you realize like how or me specifically, like how lucky I am to be able to play baseball, be able to go out and do things, and just seeing how Austin obviously is limited in a lot of ways, but still happiest kid ever, always smiling no matter what he goes through. And it really makes you realize not only how special Austin is, but how lucky we are to have him around, and just how lucky we are to have Austin as a person with us all the time. And it really puts things into perspective for sure.
Yeah, so knowing Austin has been a big pleasure of mine. I've been able to become friends with him over the past couple of years, starting out at Diamondjacks. I was lucky enough to meet him through Jimmy. He was going to the games forever. We consider him a member of our team. It was always getting after winning the big Diamond Championship on a Sunday night, seeing him, Mr. Nace, roll Austin out, and he would always get the MVP, and we would fist bump him. He would get one of the medals. It was a certain type of joy that, like, if we didn't win, Austin doesn't get this experience, and he has to go to school like not feeling a certain way or something like that. So that was a big motivation for us. Austin, he shows me a type of strength that I could never comprehend. The way that he just perseveres through every day, and every time you see him, he's got a smile on his face. Maybe he can't play like we do, but he's there. Like, he wishes he could. So I never complain about, like, going to baseball, being at Diamond Nation when we were there, like playing with the D-Jacks, because like I knew I'd probably get to see Austin. And when COVID happened, we got to do some Zooms with him and other things like that. But really, just he's an inspiration to me, and maybe we're like his friends, but he's really like someone I look at for strength if I were to need it or something like that. And his parents are great. They're very strong people, and I'm very fortunate to know them and be good friends with Austin.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Yep, we're here with Jimmy Mulvaney, Junior, St. Joseph's Metuchen, headed off to Fairfield in a couple of years. We've got a little bit of time before that, obviously. What are the goals this year for you individually? I think I know what the team goals are, and I think that's to be playing in the middle of June and raising a trophy or something at the end of the year. But what are the goals for you, to take that next step, to keep taking that next step forward this year?
Yeah, a big part of it, just mastering my pitches now that I've kind of figured myself out as a pitcher, which I'm just starting, obviously, but now that I've kind of got the wheels going, kind of figured that out more. And then a huge part is just the weight room, getting stronger, getting the velocity up, getting bigger this winter. And then from now, I was talking to one of my coaches yesterday. It's pretty straightforward. I need to just put in the work, get ready for that first fall season at Fairfield, and do whatever I can to help my team now for high school, and just get prepared to help Fairfield when I get there. And kind of just do everything I can to prepare, get bigger, get stronger, get better as a pitcher, and just keep learning.
Definitely. We'll hit you with a couple of random questions before we're done. Obviously, Halloween has some special meaning to you now, but what's been your favorite Halloween costume?
Let's see. Ryan Jaros had a pretty good one this year. He broke out one of the Star Wars costumes. I think this year I'll give it to him. He had a pretty good one this year.
What's the favorite one you've ever had to wear? What was your best?
I don't know. I'm pretty traditional. I get ripped on by Austin all the time because I'm not creative enough. I go with the traditional football, baseball player.
I was gonna
most
say,
of the
don't tell me you just dress up as a baseball player every year.
Yeah, I definitely hear it from Austin for that, but I don't get too creative with it.
Favorite professional team or favorite professional team regardless of sport.
Red Sox.
Okay, all right. I don't mind it. I just say you like the whole enemy territory thing.
Yeah, since I was born, my dad was a Red Sox fan, and I just adopted it. We've been to Fenway a bunch of times, and the Red Sox have been all around since I was younger, and I've always loved them.
But I see a Giants pennant in the background there, so that does not carry over to the Patriots then.
No, Boston's the only team, or Sox the only team we like from Boston.
Okay.
Other than that, it's all pretty much New York. Giants, Knicks, Rangers, but Red Sox are definitely the biggest one in our house.
All right. One thing you can't go without on game day.
That's a tough one. I'm a big Gatorade guy. Before every game, I definitely have a Gatorade and a water, especially when we're playing those games down south. Like after playing a high school season up here and freezing cold.
You need more than one. Yeah, you need more than one of each when you're playing down south.
Yeah, definitely.
Favorite flavor of Gatorade then?
I'll go with the yellow lemon lime, the traditional.
See, you're traditional with your Halloween costume. You're traditional with your Gatorade.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, hey, something about simplicity, I think, right? Favorite, or I guess favorite. But if you were in charge, or when you're in charge of pregame or postgame music on start day, what are we listening to?
For a baseball game, I feel like you can't go wrong with country music. A lot of people hate on it, and if I'm working out or if I'm sitting around listening to music, it probably won't be country. But before baseball game warming up, definitely like the country. It gives you the baseball feel.
Yeah, I think it's like for a pitcher, definitely, but for a hitter, you got to be careful of what country you're listening to. I think you don't want to, you definitely, it's got to be a little bit upbeat to it, right? I think.
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like country's the traditional baseball music, even the past couple of years, even more.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more walkout music for pitchers than it is walk-up music for hitters.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know why that is, but it just seems like that's my just general observation right there. Favorite place you've ever played?
I got to give it to Diamond Nation. We played at some cool stadiums like for St. Joe's over the years, but there's something about feeling at home at Diamond Nation where that's definitely my favorite spot.
Which field?
Field 1, another traditional one. We
Yeah,
got the new Field 7. I feel like it's too fancy for me. I like the traditional Field 1.
Jimmy prefers boring lifestyle is what we've learned today. That's good. That's all right. We like it still. We like simple. Simple is better. Appreciate the time today. We'll spare you the if you can't see. I think you should be able to think of something simple that you in everyday life that you've mastered.
Yeah, I know. That feels like there should be something that pops into my head, and I'm probably not thinking of something, but it's not coming to me.
That's all right. We appreciate the time. Certainly, everything you've done. Big fans of, we're big fans of where you're at and what we're looking to see in the future. And can't wait to get you out to or get out to a game this year, but also see you continue to progress.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on today.